Are we seeing the end of a Daniel Bryan run right here at SmackDown? I'm going to talk about it in just a sec, so stay tuned. This is your SmackDown review. What's up, Maniacs? My name is Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, a wrestling enthusiast, a WrestleManiac, if you will. And today we are talking about SmackDown. Pretty good show. Some storylines moving towards this WrestleMania backlash thing that they're having in the women's division, in the men's division. But something that we're going to talk about probably towards the end of the show, because that's when it happened on the show. Daniel Bryan in a possible loser leaves SmackDown kind of situation. So we've seen a lot of stuff regarding Daniel Bryan and his future in WWE in the last week. So yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what exactly this is and how it pans out next week. This is all going to happen next week. Before we get there, though, we will talk about the entire show, so stay tuned. And right here at WrestleManiac UK, I discuss everything that's WWE and AEW. So if this sounds like the place for you, make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell as well, so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into it. SmackDown review. The show opened up with Cesaro in the ring, but before he could say anything, we got a big burn it down. Seth Rollins comes strutting out, and he said, at WrestleMania, I gave you the best match of your life, the best match of your career, the night of your life, which I thought was a funny way to put it. And he basically said, that couldn't have happened without me, and you thought you could just waltz on off and go after Roman Reigns and the Universal Championship. I'm not finished with you. This is going to continue, this, that, and the other. As he's basically setting up, I don't know, a match or whatever, trying to get into Cesaro. Jey Uso comes out and he said similar things. You want to spot at the head of the table. You want to be Universal Champion. Never going to happen. You couldn't take me out last week. You can't take me out. This, that, and the other. And Seth Rollins and Jey Uso made a plan to kind of circle around Cesaro and ambush him, basically. As they kind of got themselves into position around the ring, Cesaro was in the ring, Daniel Bryan's music hit, Daniel Bryan came out, and Daniel Bryan was pretty much saying, well, it's 2-on-2 now, and you guys are retreating. Why, continue your ambush and everything you had planned. Daniel Bryan poking some fun at them and the whole situation. And last but not least, Roman Reigns came out, and Roman Reigns just mocked Daniel Bryan. He showed off his new shirt, which says stack 'em, pin 'em, or smash 'em, stack 'em, pin 'em, with the image of him over Edge and Daniel Bryan's body at WrestleMania, pinning them. Daniel Bryan wasn't so amused anymore, which was pretty good. But yeah, Roman Reigns just coming out, making a joke of all of these guys, and kind of went to the back, didn't really say anything more significant from there. I think Cesaro or Daniel Bryan kind of issued a challenge just, to him, but he kind of blew it off. We came back from a commercial break and we had a tag match. So it was Seth Rollins and Jey Uso taking on Daniel Bryan and Cesaro. Really good match. They gave this match a lot of time, a lot of time, and obviously all the guys involved, great competitors. They all have kind of a common interest or a common thread running through them, sort of thing. A couple guys in there want to challenge for the Universal Championship in Daniel Bryan and Cesaro, respect each other greatly. Jey Uso is obviously doing what he can as the right hand man to defend the Universal Championship before the person even gets to Roman, and Seth Rollins has obviously got beef with Cesaro. Great match. We saw towards the end of it, Seth Rollins just walk away, leave Jey Uso in the lurch in the middle of the ring. He just walked away, said, "I don't need this. I'm Seth freaking Rollins. I don't need this." So he walked away up the ramp, left Jey Uso in there. I think we saw some swings by Cesaro. He tagged in Daniel Bryan. We saw a running knee, and Daniel Bryan pinned Jey Uso. The fun didn't end there. Daniel Bryan took to the mic and he got up on the turnbuckle and he sat there. He was like, "Roman, you said you're a family man. You said you defend your family and you feed the family and the Samoan dynasty," which he mentioned, and all of this kind of stuff. And he said, "Why don't you come out here and defend Jey Uso?" "No, you don't fancy it." So Cesaro took to the mic and said something similar as well. Daniel Bryan kind of ordered Cesaro, "Well, let's keep swinging him and see if Roman Reigns is the family man. He says he is, and he's going to come out and protect his family. Cesaro swung him round and round and round again. No sign of Roman. And Daniel Bryan basically put over Cesaro big, saying that, he's the next person in line. He should get the chance, this, that, and the other for the Universal Championship. Big yes chants broke out. Audio, audio played, recorded, previously recorded yes chants. And yeah, that's how this particular segment ended. So a really long kind of segment, probably about 40 minutes, this segment, including the both promo segments and the match. Daniel Bryan kind of doing Cesaro's job here in terms of the promo. Cesaro wasn't kind of putting himself over and telling us why he's the best candidate. We had Daniel Bryan doing that, maybe because of Cesaro's delivery on the mic and not always the best, this, that, and the other. But yeah, I thought this was a decent segment to start the show. Lasted really long, took us to nearly halfway through the show. So yeah, I'm really interested. Well, with how it finished, we'll talk about that in a sec. But really good stuff. Next up on the show, we saw Tamina versus Nia Jax. Tamina was escorted to the ring by Natalya, and Nia Jax was with Shayna Baszler and the returning Reginald, which we haven't seen for some time now, a couple of weeks, since just before WrestleMania, or from WrestleMania, I think we haven't seen Reginald. So good to see Reginald back. I hope he wasn't unwell or anything like that. As for the actual match between Nia Jax and Tamina, they're really trying to sell us on this like big, big ladies Samoan match. Like, I don't know what this is, but they're trying to do here, but I'm not really sure if anyone's really buying it. Like I said before, I don't think Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax should be coming over to SmackDown if they're not having tag matches. They shouldn't be coming over for singles matches. It's dumb. It's silly. Like, there's a whole women's roster that wasn't spotlighted. Where are the Riot Squad? Where is Carmella? I'm forgetting names, but there's a whole lot more. Trust me. So where are all these women when they need their singles matches? They're not getting them because people on Raw are coming over to SmackDown to have singles matches. Not the best. This match wasn't the best. Wasn't given a lot of time. We saw Reginald try to get up on the apron area to distract I think it was Tamina, and then Shayna Baszler pulled him off. Shayna Baszler then got caught up in the match. Nia Jax got distracted. Tamina hit Nia Jax with a sweet chin music or a super kick, and she kind of fell back into the corner. She came out the corner. Tamina rolled her up for the win. So Tamina getting a win over Nia Jax. I'm sure that places Tamina and Natalya in a nice position as contenders for the tag team championships some way, somehow. I think they just take the championships off Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Let's move it round. Even though you guys aren't doing the most impressive or important things with this women's tag championship, let's move it round, Mandy and Dana Brooke, I'm sure would probably get some more interesting stuff done with this tag team championship. The Riot Squad would probably get some more interesting stuff done with this tag team championship. Naomi and Lana, for God's sake. Like, it's been on Shayna and Nia Jax for a very long time, despite it swiftly moving over to Asuka and Charlotte. So yeah, let's move it around and keep things as fresh as possible. Jonesy Chats Wrestling in the chat. Morning, bro. Hope you're well. Explosive SmackDown episode. Yeah, we're gonna get to the end and my thoughts on the end, but pretty decent show as of what we got this week. Next up on the show, we had the Intercontinental Championship match. We saw Apollo Crews quite annoyed backstage with Adam Pearce that he had to defend his championship. He thought it was going to be against Big E. It wasn't Big E. It was against Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens and Big E even had their own war of words backstage as to who was next and who deserved to be next and when Big E should get his rematch, etc., etc. But Kevin Owens versus Apollo Crews as a match, probably, if not maybe the tag match that we spoke about at the top of the show, probably one of the other matches of the night. Really, really good match. We had Commander Aziz ringside doing the intimidation tactics and all sorts, but Apollo Crews is really kind of settling into this role, despite the accent still being a major annoyance to me. Yeah, it's great to see Apollo Crews definitely getting the confidence beneath himself when it comes to this role. Really, really good match between him and Kevin Owens. Obviously, he comes with the mix of the strength and the agility, and Kevin Owens can also do the agile stuff as well. We saw him go up to the top rope and stuff a couple of times. We saw a great spot of Apollo Crews going for a backflip off the apron, and he got caught. He missed Kevin Owens and then got caught with a super kick, which was pretty cool. Saw a frog splash from Kevin Owens. So really, jam-packed match. Sami Zayn came out at one point and came on commentary, maybe to try and cause a distraction to Kevin Owens. But yeah, it was a distraction from Commander Aziz, which allowed Cruz to get the roll up for the win. After the bell, we saw KO hit Apollo Crews with a stunner, and yeah, he sold that pretty well. That was pretty entertaining when he hit that. And then we saw Commander Aziz get into the ring, and he hit Kevin Owens with the Nigerian nail. Am I right in just thinking that's like a knockout punch or something? Nothing super impressive, but yeah. So Kevin Owens in and around the Intercontinental title picture, if you like. Sami Zayn looks like he's going to involve himself. Sami Zayn, after these guys cleared out Kevin Owens and left the ring area, Sami Zayn came into the ring, started busting his little two steps and his dances and everything. So that's becoming his thing, I guess. And yeah, obviously Big E waiting in the wings. Big E backstage after the match. Apollo Crews was kind of doing an interview with the new interviewer and boasting and all of this kind of stuff. And Big E came out of nowhere, took out Apollo Crews. And Big E versus Apollo Crews, the rematch is happening next week on the show. So we've got two championship matches next week on SmackDown. I'm going to talk about the second one in just a bit. Guys, before we get on to a return to SmackDown, please make sure you've hit the thumbs up button. I ask it every time, and I appreciate it every time you guys hit the thumbs up button. It does loads for the channel. Lets more people see these videos that we're putting out here. So yeah, if you could hit the thumbs up button, I'll thoroughly appreciate it. Aleister Black back on SmackDown, but in the shape of a vignette. He was backstage in a lit, not a overly lit area. It was a dark area. He had a book in hand, and he was talking about something that his father had told him. I think the book was called The Dark Father. This was a lot of kind of cryptic stuff. The gist of it is that he's coming back. He doesn't rate us, as in the fans, everyone watching this, everyone aspiring to be him, this, that, and the other. He is a heel. Aleister Black is en route back. I hope we don't get him, doing these cryptic messages for weeks and weeks and weeks. Like they debuted him, if you guys remember, in that black room on himself, waiting for a fight, someone to come and fight me. Like, don't do all of that stuff. Let this be 1 week, 2 weeks max. We see Aleister Black come out. You see what I mean? So, yeah, good to see him back, though. Good to see him back. And we had a backstage promo as well between the Dirty Dogs and Kayla Braxton. And they were basically saying, obviously, they retained their championships last week. Who's next? The Street Profits came out and said, when we were champions, you guys will come in for shots all the time. So why can't we get another shot? Dirty Dogs were saying no. Bailey then came in, got involved, ushered the men away, told them that, this isn't... we don't need this kind of confrontation, this, that, and the other. And Bailey then had an interview with Kayla Braxton. It seems as if Bailey is going to be taking on Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania Backlash. I don't know when that was officially announced or if it has, but that's what she was kind of insinuating. Said a lot of things about Bianca Belair, how she's a rookie, this, that, and the other. Montez Ford, who was still kind of waiting in the wings, heard it all. He was on the phone to Bianca Belair and kind of snitched on Bailey and said, Bianca, did you hear what Bailey says? She's got your name in her mouth. Bianca Belair on the phone said, I'm going to be right there. Came back from a little commercial break. Bianca Belair was next to Bailey and said, say what you were saying. And Bailey pretended that she was being all humble, like, I'm honored to be your first challenger and all of this kind of stuff. And then Bianca Belair, said to Kayla, well, I wasn't expecting it to go down like that. And Bailey came back into shot and laughed her ass off that, Bianca believed her for being all this humble person or whatever. So, yeah. Couple of backstage stuff taking place. Next up on the show, or should I say the last bit of action on the night, it was the Mysterios versus the Alpha Academy. So I guess these guys are still jostling for a tag team championship position, number one contenders position. It feels like we're seeing these tag teams, because there's only like 4 of them. We're seeing them like every week. Really good match though. Can't fault this match at all. Very, very interesting. And obviously, because of the amount of times they've gone at each other, the chemistry in the ring is, getting better, getting stronger. So yeah, we saw Gable and Otis put on a really good performance. The Mysterios are looking very good. Dominic Mysterio as well, obviously. The most inexperienced in the ring, if you like, but yeah, he's looking really good. We saw him kind of dive onto Otis on the outside, and Otis went to knock him down, ran into the commentary table. We saw Rey Mysterio hit Chad Gable with a 619. And then from there, he went up to the top rope, as you know, frog splash, got the pin on Chad Gable. So the Mysterios get the win here. And before I was going to answer Jonesy's comment, Jonesy says that Bianca versus Bailey match will be great. Fantastic first title defense opponent. Yeah, I think it would be. I think it's a decent match, and obviously they've got history anyway. They were kind of jostling for position before the Royal Rumble, I think it was. So yeah, that would be really good. The Mysterios were leaving the ringside area. We saw Cesaro and Daniel Bryan coming down to the ring, and they congratulated the Mysterios on the win. They got into the ring, and again they're calling out Roman Reigns. Cesaro saying that, come out here and give us an answer if you're going to give me a Universal Championship match, or do I need to come back there and get my answer? Kind of threatening the head of the table. So we saw Roman Reigns eventually come out. Roman Reigns got into the ring with all his swagger. He looks at Cesaro, not impressed. Looks at Daniel Bryan, not impressed. Shows them both the Universal Championship. He said to Cesaro, "You are not getting a Universal Championship." I can't say this, excuse me. I can't say, because Roman Reigns is two jokes. Like, he's just so good with the mic these days. Roman Reigns said, "You're not getting a championship shot. You don't deserve it," and everything like that. You don't issue the challenges around here. I issue the challenges. And he's issuing a challenge to Daniel Bryan. So again, completely dismissive of Cesaro, not impressed by Cesaro's existence on this planet. He's asking for the championship shot, and he's basically saying to him, "You're not getting the championship shot, but this guy can get one," sort of thing. The level of disrespect is so high. So yeah, Roman Reigns not impressive Cesaro at all. He's not having it at all. He says to Daniel Bryan that, yeah, I don't like you, never liked you. And he's giving Daniel Bryan this title shot as a last chance opportunity. When you lose, I'm not trying to see you on SmackDown again. So Daniel Bryan has basically found himself in like a loser leaves SmackDown kind of position. Roman Reigns, I guess, isn't leaving if he loses, but let's be honest, Roman Reigns ain't losing. So Daniel Bryan accepted the challenge. Daniel Bryan is going to take on Roman Reigns next week for the Universal Championship. And if Daniel Bryan does not win the Universal Championship, he's basically banished from SmackDown. Roman kind of put it like that. Michael Cole definitely put it like that. As long as Roman is on SmackDown, Daniel Bryan shall not be on SmackDown. In the last week, we've obviously heard a lot about Daniel Bryan's future and what he wants to do. I don't think this is him leaving the WWE. Like, let's be real. I don't think he's beaten Daniel. I don't think he's beaten Roman Reigns. So this may be, him just leaving SmackDown. There may be some type of funny finish where, nothing even happens. We don't get that far. But I wouldn't be surprised for the rest of his contract. And I think Daniel Bryan's contract runs out in maybe about September or so, maybe just before that, maybe end of summer. We see Daniel Bryan pop up on Raw to try and boost Raw ratings. We see Daniel Bryan maybe go over to NXT. And he has a little run just here, there, and everywhere, and just take on everyone that he wants to. A couple dream matches here and there before his WWE contract runs out, because it definitely is beginning to look that he is stepping away from this. Really, really interesting situation Daniel Bryan and the rest of us kind of find ourselves in. But a big Universal Championship match next week on the card. If Daniel Bryan does not beat Roman Reigns, he is gone from SmackDown. And yeah, this could be the beginning of Daniel Bryan's swan song and him ending his run with WWE, so to speak. It'll be very interesting to see if he does pop up in these places, like we say, Raw, NXT, etc., or he kind of sits at home and sits out the rest of his contract. You guys let me know what you think of what could happen, but yeah, it's beginning to kind of dawn on me that, you know, we may not see Daniel Bryan in WWE for much longer. Of course, we may see him turn up in AEW, which would be brilliant. We may see him turn up in the G1 in New Japan, which would be absolutely brilliant. So yeah, the possibilities are still endless. He seems that he wants to still wrestle, but his WWE days may just be coming to an end. But yeah, like I said, you guys let me know how you feel about that. But that is the SmackDown review. It was a pretty good show. Like I said, next week, 2 big championship matches. This one we've just talked about for the Universal Championship. And then, of course, the Intercontinental Championship is on the line. Apollo Crews will be defending it against Big E. Jonesy Chats Wrestling says in the chat, Daniel Bryan to have a break for a while unless he wins by DQ. Yeah, there might be some type of funny finish like that, like we said, which may keep him on SmackDown. Like I said, I don't think he'll just necessarily disappear from WWE. I think there's quite a few dream matches he could have in NXT for sure, maybe on Raw as well. So will be interesting to see. But I mean, this is the kind of way for me shows should be ending. You know, there's nothing to look forward to on Raw next week. Absolutely nothing. If anyone can tell me something too, then please let me know. But we already know next week we're getting Intercontinental Championship match. We're already getting a Universal Championship match. Whether they end in dusty finishes or not, there's something to look forward to. There's a reason to tune in. So yeah, I will take it. So yeah, Jonesy says that he wants to be on the creative team. I think he already is, mate. I think he's already on the creative team, offering ideas and helping to produce matches. So maybe yeah, as a full-time role, maybe yeah. But yeah, guys, that is a SmackDown review. I hope you enjoyed it. Please, before you get out of here, please smash the thumbs up button if you haven't already. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new here and hit the notification bell so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video. WrestleManiac UK signing out.